Good morning, everyone. I finished editing and I was about to upload my YouTube video for today, but YouTube is down and Google is down, Gmail is down, so that's concerning. This week, tomorrow, I will be submitting all of my transfer documents. I did a whole video on the transfer report and all of the different things I had to prepare. I uploaded that yesterday, which for you will be 2 days ago. If you haven't seen that, I'll have it linked down below. But yeah, so I need to submit all those documents. I'm essentially just waiting for the form from my most recent meeting, which was on Thursday, to be signed by all the supervisors and the research panel members. So it's not a huge work day today. Essentially, I'm taking it somewhat easy just to make sure that I really have given enough time to go through all of the transfer stuff. And then from tomorrow, I'm basically going to be working back on project work. So obviously on Friday I will have the actual transfer meeting, but in between I don't have a huge amount to do for the transfer except for just go over the presentation. And I'm a bit concerned about going back to project work just because I haven't been following a great schedule. So I also, in my spare time, will be rereading parts of this book called Rest. I actually did a whole video of that about this book, sort of the basics of why it's helpful over the weekend, but I'm going to be rereading this partially today at least to start getting back into a good routine. The reason being that going back into project work, it is very creative. You need to sort of be on creatively when you're trying to do all the problem solving, so it's important that I'm following a good routine over the next couple of weeks. Obviously I'm going to be taking some time off over the Christmas period, but I still want to be in a position where my mind is open to those creative breakthroughs, and I think the Christmas break will help with that. I sent my supervisor some options for conference submissions for January, February. So essentially I just want to know what we're going for and what kind of work I should be doing, because for me the hardest point for anything is the time just after I've submitted something. I basically lose all motivation. I want to just be set up with the next thing so that I know I have something to be working towards, and it just sort of sets me up for right after I submit all my documents tomorrow. I think everybody's different. The way I like to work is by having a lot on. So I work part-time, I have my YouTube stuff, and then I also have obviously my PhD, which is the main thing. And for me, that's comforting to have all these things on, because it means that in my workday I only have a certain amount of time to get things done, and that means I really need to make the most of that time. Whereas when I have a full day to do something, I will take the full day and maybe not even feel like I need to do the things or get them done. So I like to be busy, and I am going to be sort of filming as much as I can about my project process, because that's something that people have asked for before, like my research pipeline. Essentially what I'm doing now is going to be the setting up so that I'm in the right frame of mind to do this work, which will be starting with reading this book. I think that is super important, because if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not going to get any real productive work done or real creative work done. And that is always a first step for me, is making sure I'm in the right mental state for this kind of work. For now though, I'm going to be reading through my transfer report and seeing if there's any changes that I can see that would be good to make. So I just wanted to briefly show you my sort of process for when I'm at the editing stage of the draft of something. So usually I'll use this time to use my iPad because it's amazing for everything, but it's better to have it out, not on the screen that you have been working on. So I wouldn't like to edit as much on my laptop screen, because you're used to seeing it in that way and you won't see the mistakes that have already been there because you've read it that way a couple times now. So obviously you don't need to have an iPad. You can print out your assignment or your paper and start going through it with a pen. That way as well, if you're actually just going through the entire thing and making your notes for how you're going to edit, essentially you'll stay in the reading or editing mode. Whereas if you are reading through it, seeing a mistake, going back and fixing it, you keep breaking up your attention between the different tasks of reading and editing versus actually editing. So I like to just read it through fully and do all of the notes for things that I want to change, and then I go back and edit it. So you can just see some of the notes that I've made. At this stage, they're quite small things, just sorting out figures and like rewriting a couple of things. So I use my obviously Apple Pencil to write in these notes. I'm using Goodnotes 5. That's what I typically use for all of these. So basically this is the PDF that I've downloaded from Overleaf, and then I just uploaded that into Goodnotes and I just went through it and edited it. So you can see it's just small things like redoing diagram or like fixing like spelling mistakes, fixing the formatting, adding in full stops, different things like that. But that's just sort of what I do. So I'll have a read through it and make those small notes. I've finished my complete read through now, so I just have to fix all of the little mistakes that I found. But at the moment, I would like to take a little bit of a break between these two tasks. So I'm gonna have some lunch and I'm gonna go for a walk because it's actually quite nice and bright out today, and it has been quite dull recently. So I just feel like it'd be nice to get out into the cold sunshine. And then I'm gonna go back and actually do all of these little edits. Well, I have some exciting news. Drum roll. I got the email that I was accepted for one of the internship positions that I did an interview for last week. I'm quite surprised because they did mention there might be another interview, and I thought maybe that would be more of an opportunity for me to do a little bit better, because I did feel like I didn't do super well in the interview. But like I do feel like my CV and my cover letter, I think if it was only based on that, would have probably been good enough, because I have done a lot of work to date, and like what they're working on in the company at the moment, it's quite relevant to what I've been doing. So I just felt like I did seem like a good candidate, but I don't think I did particularly well in the interview. So then I thought there'd be this other interview, but there wasn't. It was a bit of a panic because one of my friends in the course, she also applied, and I was really hoping we would both get it. And she sent me a message that she had gotten the email, and then I waited like half an hour and I still hadn't heard. So I was a bit like, oh, that's, it's fine. But then I got the email, so it's very exciting. I'm just talking to my supervisor at the moment through email about whether I should, accept. I think he will say that I should, especially if I want to. But yeah, it's very exciting. That will be from May to September. So it is more than likely I will be doing an internship from May to September. So if you're interested in how that's gonna go, I guess stay tuned, because I will be doing updates on it. Probably doing some videos while I'm doing the internship, just different sort of days in the life and stuff like that, because it'll be interesting to see how things change in terms of those days in my life compared to the ones I currently am doing. For now, I've finished my editing of my transfer report, and basically that means that it's time to call it quits. Gonna make some dinner, and then I have some editing to do of drama videos. Basically, I think that's gonna take a while today. I have a good bit to do. I'm probably gonna be doing that late this evening, but not a lot I can do about that.